Ay, nahulog yung painting mo yan. Ready? Are we ready, Teacher Vincent? Tingnan mo nga yung kumain sa Facebook page niya. Check mo nga. Baka nagla-live na si Teacher, hindi pa ako naka-ready. Live na ba tayo? Go. Teacher Vincent, are we on cam already? Are we starting? We're ready? Okay, hello everyone. I hope everything's well with you. I believe we have numerous students today, moms, dads, titos, titas, and even teachers who are with us today. So I know that you are watching from different places. Welcome po everyone. So that's the beauty of technology. We are now connected in spite of the differences places that we are into. So welcome po. So somehow we have, first time reaches. But I am so excited today because we will be sharing about the most sought after topic that is also very dear to my heart. Okay, how to become a great communicator, how to speak with confidence and substance so that people will listen. Okay, so tonight we also have an exciting contest. By the end of it, I'll be asking a question. Don't worry, the question is very simple. Everybody can answer it as long as you'll be able to listen, watch. If you can just take down notes also, so for optimal learning. Okay, so by the way, I'm teacher Mavic Lee from Lee's English Center. Okay, and tonight I'd like you to I'd like to share with you very inspiring, okay, inspiring student, young man, promising man, who will be giving us bits of wisdom, okay, on how to become a good speaker. Okay, so don't worry though, the questions for later will really be easy. But for now, let's talk about why are we talking about how to speak effectively. I can fondly recall when I was a child, I have this inclination and this admiration to great speakers and writers. Talk about Lea Salonga, Miriam Defensor Santiago, Steve Jobs, Bo Sanchez, Ken Robinson, Cheche Lazaro, Lucy Cruz Valdez, Melissa Young, Simon Sinek. All of these people, what do they have in common? Okay, I hope you're answering. I know. So, yes, they are all men and women of substance who speaks eloquently with power, with passion. Okay? So the big question is that can speaking be learned? For example, what if I'm shy? I'm an introvert. Okay? Those are the common questions. Like for me, example, I can fondly remember when I was a child, I'm also very shy. I'm an introvert student. Though I'm good in academics, Even though the question of the teacher, my English teacher, is very simple, I don't really have that guts to really raise my hand, even though I knew the answers. And then I observed some of my classmates are also like that. I knew that they also knew the answers because the question is very simple. We studied hard for that, but some are not raising their hands. The big question is that why? Because what? You're afraid that you'll be embarrassed. You're afraid that you don't have the correct pronunciation. You don't have the quality of thoughts, how to really express your thoughts articulately in English. So I think every one of you can relate. Everyone wants to become a great speaker, a great writer. So, what are the things that we need to do in order for us to become, a better speaker, a better communicator? In this time of pandemic, there are many challenges that are confronting everyone. Every parent, mother, dad, guardians, people in abroad, even students here in the Philippines, those who don't have online gadgets, those who will be doing modular or blended learning. It seems that learning is a challenge nowadays. Okay, so those are the things that we will share with you later on. Once I'll introduce to you our speaker for tonight. Okay, are you excited? Okay, so how many viewers do we have right now? From where are you? I think we have viewers from Manila, viewers from Pangasinan, Ordaneta, Villasis. Okay, so I'm so excited. So let us try to ask first, what is our big one? Why do you want to learn how to speak English fluently? First, in my case, I have this fear in speaking. I have difficulty in organizing my thoughts and answers in English before. Just like you. I believe you can also relate uh, this same experience one way or the another. I realized that these are the reasons why many students, though they are also intelligent, but they are poor in communication skills and have low self-confidence. Like me before, I remember I have very limited words in English, very limited vocabulary. So I cannot complete my sentences, my thoughts in English. Sometimes I even need to write it down first before I can say it. So I think some of students right now are like that. Why? Because when I taught in De La Salle before, in Speech Power, in FEU, in San Sebastian College, I can clearly see the struggle of students. When I ask them to recite or to discuss something at a topic or issue in the society, nobody wants to answer. Nobody raises his or her hand. Though I know that these are equally competent, intelligent, smart students. So the very reason is that maybe most of them, they have difficulty, no? They have a hard time doing extemporaneous speech, impromptu, or automatic speeches. They needed to write down first their thoughts in paper, and then later on they can recite. I think you can also relate that the same experience, okay? So what does it take? What are the practices? What are the habits of great speakers that they can do impromptu speeches, that they can do extemporaneous speech without difficulty? Though there's still fear, but they can fluently express their thoughts clearly in English. Okay? So we also have this what? Fear of mispronouncing words. So sometimes because of accentuation, diction, okay, or you're not really sure of the sounds of words you have, right? You don't want to what? Join in your brainstorming in the office, in the meeting, in the class discussion, in your classes, in the recitation, even though you have the bright ideas in your head. Okay? And one important thing, I think this is one of the most difficult phase that a student encounter. Grammar. They have difficulty in sentence construction. I believe very few students have very good foundation when it comes to grammar, English grammar. Okay? You would often say, how can I convey my points very well? Or what if I doesn't make any sense at all? If I cannot deliver my message very clearly? Okay? So because of that, some of the students or even professionals have very low self-esteem. Their voice when they speak up is very low that sometimes they're the only one who can hear it. Okay? So don't fret. This scenario sounds familiar, right? I know, I've been there, okay? I'm also a shy student before when I was in elementary, high school, and even in college. So all the moms, the dads, the titas, the teachers, and students out there, you are not alone, okay? We are all in this together. Even in this time of pandemic, it's the best time that we will empower ourselves so that we can become better versions of ourselves. Okay? So we need to what? To train from the best teachers, from the best mentors, from the best speakers that is available, not only here in the Philippines, but also in other places in the world. So let us not wait. I know you're all excited. Tonight, we are all privileged to be inspired and empowered with this young, promising man that I have invited from Manila, from Las Piñas. He's a debater, a writer, an ardent learner like you, like me, right? He's a grade 10 student from Las Piñas. He's an eloquent speaker and writer at a very young age. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, our special guest for tonight, Mr. Ethan Lopez. Okay? Let's give him a round of applause. Okay.
Hello.
Hello, Ethan. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me on here.
Okay. It seems that Ethan doesn't have, I can't hear Ethan right now. Teacher Vincent. Okay.
Hello?
Hello, Ethan. There's no
Yes, can you
voice.
hear me?
Uh-oh. There's no
You can,
audio.
there's no audio. That's
Yeah.
odd. Um,
Teacher
Mr.
Vincent.
Vincent, can you hear me? Teacher Vincent, hello. Sorry? Ako walang video. Give me a second.
Okay, sige. Let's try to fix that technical problem first. Okay.
Meron na, Teacher Vincent?
Uh-oh. None yet. Teacher Vincent, can you please try to make it work first? Okay, so I have here questions I'll be giving to you later. So you have to really listen attentively so that you'll be able to answer the question. But the question is very easy. You need to finish first
Hello?
this video so that you'll be able to answer the question. Okay?
Hello
Hello,
po, Tita
Ethan.
Mabe. Can you hear me?
Okay, there's no audio
There's still no
still.
audio?
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Okay, sige. Sige, while Ethan is arranging his audio with Teacher Vincent, let's try to continue. Okay, what are the things that we expect? So the things that Ethan will be able to answer today will be, as a student, as an individual, how valuable it is to articulate your thoughts and messages clearly and confidently in English. Okay, so dear viewers, at the rate of 1 to 10, how would you rate yourself in your speaking ability? How are you very articulate? Are you very clear in your thoughts when you're speaking in English? Because of course English is the lingua franca. Though we are Filipinos, we're considered best English speakers in the world, right? We are even considered the best mentors in the English language in different Asian countries like Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, India, etc. Okay? So, uh, from 1 to 10,
Hello?
yes, that's it. Wala akong audio rin kanina. Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
Meron po.
Meron daw, sabi ni teacher. Sure kayo?
Yes.
Yes po, meron.
Okay, so I need to introduce you better, okay, so that our viewers would clearly hear it. Okay, today I'm excited because we're privileged to have this young man. So we will be inspired and empowered because he is a debater, a writer, and an ardent learner at a very young age. He's just a grade 10 student in Las Piñas, but he's already eloquent in speaking and writing. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, without further let us all welcome our special guest for tonight,
Hello.
Mr. Ethan Lopez. Hello, Ethan. Okay, so technicality. Were you
Yes, I
able to
could hear
hear
you,
me
but
a
it
while
was just
ago?
you who didn't hear me.
Okay. So, as a student and as an
Mhm.
individual, Ethan, how valuable it is for you to be able to articulate your thoughts clearly and confidently in English.
So basically, when we talk about being able to articulate your thoughts and speak your mind clearly, we're talking or discussing communication skills. And when we communicate with others, we often want to share an idea or a viewpoint, or we want to convince them or persuade them to believe in something, or simply we just want to tell a story. And the catch here is that if you've got a story to tell, for instance, but you're not really fluent in English or you're not able to confidently and freely express your thoughts, you end up losing the essence of the idea, right? And I'm
Yes.
sure a lot of people can attest to that fact. And I believe that's one reason why it's really valuable to be able to articulate your thoughts and speak your mind clearly. And I can personally attest to this one too. Um, Based off of my experience as a debater, I realized that being able to speak with not only confidence but also with conviction is just as important as the content of your speech. You know,
We
confidence,
correct
that
predict.
confidence really carries your point. It allows speakers to speak with clarity, and when you're calm, you can manage your thoughts better. You're able to focus. And that confidence also helps speakers speak slowly, you know. It can be very obvious, or it's easy to tell when a speaker is feeling uneasy because they tend to speak way faster and they tend to be clumsy with their words. But confident speakers will often carry themselves, be cool and collected in front of an audience. And I'm not just talking about that as an advantage, you know, being able to express your thoughts with conviction and confidence. It can also be used, or these skills can also be used to boost what confidence you already have. It makes it extra valuable, especially for me. Being a good public speaker or a good communicator can enhance your reputation, boost your self confidence, and open up countless opportunities. In a sense, it's
Correct.
really empowering to know how to speak and to know that you can speak, you know, be able to speak your
Yes.
mind clearly and confidently. So,
I
yun po.
agree, Ethan. Yes, I agree. So, Ethan, I'm just curious. As a child, are you already a confident speaker? Or you also experienced stage fright before? How's your did you undergo process? Because while looking at you at a very young age at grade 10, you speak this well already. So that our viewers right now, they can also relate. What helped you become a better communicator in English? Are there habits, secrets, or can anyone become a confident speaker really?
Okay, so I'll break it down. I'll break it down
There's so
into
many
two parts. So the
questions,
first,
sorry.
yeah, the first one is how did you get to become a better communicator in English? So I don't really have a secret to it actually. It's more of having parents. I grew up having parents with really high standards, especially my mom. And I know she's listening. So hi mom. And
Hello, Pia, my classmate before.
yes, she would have, and she still does. She still has really high standards, and she would be really nitpicky with my speech and my essays when I was growing up and when I would bring them home. I remember times when I'd come home with a perfectly graded test paper, like 20 out of 20 and 30 out of 30. And when I would show it to her, she would point stuff out, like you're going around in circles with this point, or you could have used this instead of this. And I guess I brought those standards along with me in debating, extemporaneous speaking, public speaking, and writing. And it's kind of been instilled in me that that's the kind of standard that I have to have. And when I'm presenting in class or simply when I'm conversing with others, I have to meet it. So I think that's how I got to be a better communicator in English. I'm obviously not the best. There are a lot of people out there who are way more talented and skilled, and I've got so much more to learn. But I definitely do believe that I'm now confident in my own capabilities compared to before. I used to be a bit shy. I would experience a lot of stage fright.
Mm-mm.
I would shiver a lot before getting on stage. I would fidget, and I didn't really carry this aura that I have now.
Yes.
I felt scared to make a mistake or say something that I'm not supposed to, or just embarrass myself in general. And um, growing up, it was just five things. The five things that I've got and I've learned and I want to share with people is five tips.
Yes.
Number one, and the most important one, I think, is to believe in yourself.
Okay.
Why believe in yourself? Well, it all starts with you. If you don't have faith in yourself, you cannot accomplish anything. Even if
Correct.
everybody around you believes in you, just as long as you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to be able to reach that level, you know? And so yeah, that's the first tip, is believe in yourself. Tip
Mm-mm.
two, it's practice, practice, practice.
Yes.
As many of you know, communication is an art. And like every other medium of art, it takes mastery, it takes time. And
Correct.
you've got to be ready to commit to it. You've got to dedicate time to practicing and enhancing your public speaking skills. Otherwise,
Yes.
you're not going to achieve what you dream. Like, for example, if you want to become a world-class debater, you can't really become that without that practice. I would remember reading essays or reading articles online to myself, and I would try to make it sound like it was a TED talk. And
Yes.
that was one of my practice exercises. And our coaches even made us record ourselves online, and we would throw back responses as debaters. So yeah, tip number two is all about practice. Tip number three,
Yes.
and I think a lot of people know this: be open to criticism, regardless of whether or not it's constructive. You're able
Yes.
to accept, or let's clarify first. What do I mean by being open to criticism? I mean being able to accept negative feedback about yourself or your work without reacting overly emotionally about it, whether the criticism is constructively intended or not. You've got to learn how to know, or you've got to learn that that criticism, whether it's bad or not, you should still take it into consideration, and
Yes.
you shouldn't fire back at it. Instead, you embody it. You kind of take a look at it from a perspective that, oh yeah, I agree. That's where I should be improving right now. And once you're finally open-minded in the sense that you're accepting criticism, you'll be able to improve on mistakes, common mistakes. Like, for example, if somebody tells you that you're fidgeting a lot in front of everybody, um,
Yes.
knowing that, and even if it's said to you like in a rude manner, like, "Oh my gosh, why are you fidgeting so much? Ew, like, what are you doing up there?" Even if it's said like that, you have to take it into consideration. because it'll
Yes.
just keep happening. And until you learn to accept it and improve upon it, it's not gonna stop. So yun, tip number three is be open to criticism. Tip number four, don't fear failure and don't hate your mistakes. A lot of
Correct.
people often make this mistake of, well, hating mistakes. Mistakes are
Yes.
bad, no doubt, but not learning from them is way worse. The key to learning from mistakes is to one, admit them without excuses or defensiveness. You've got
Yes.
to rub your nose in them a little and make the changes you need to, and uh, kind of, again, take it into consideration to grow going forward. If you can't admit your mistakes, you will not grow. So similar to
Correct.
tip number two about being open to criticism, tip number four, or tip number three pala yun. Tip number four is all about not being beat down by those mistakes. Mistakes are learning curves. Everybody has them. Even the best speaker on earth has experienced what we've gone through as beginners. You've heard of stage fright, you've heard of the fidgeting, you've heard of grammatical errors, you've heard of verbal crutches, all those things. All of those people, the best TED speakers out there, have gone through that. And you have to know,
Yes.
if you don't accept those mistakes as a part of you, you're not gonna grow. You're not gonna
Yeah.
improve. You're not gonna level up. And of course, lastly, tip number five is to take all the opportunities you can to practice in front of a live audience. It's intimidating. Yes, it is. It's a daring task. It's daunting. It's scary. But if there's anything I've learned, it's that being able to perform in front of a live audience and being able to debate with other people who are my age, it's it really helps not only build confidence, but it also helps you get an idea of how things are going to be. If you're too afraid to go into that, you're not going to grow. All right? If you want to become a public speaker, it's not only about being open to criticism, it's not only about practice, it's not only about not fearing your mistakes, it's also about taking that leap, taking that jump, be daring, you know what I mean? And that's when you start growing. And from there, you can only get better. There's no going downwards, okay? And I think that's all five tips. So, number one, just to recap, believe in yourself. You can do it. Number two,
Yes.
practice, 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 and rehearse. Number
Yes.
three,
Even
be
it's a
open to
cliche.
criticism. Yes, even if it's a cliche. Number three, be open to
Yes.
criticism. Number four, do not fear failure. Learn from your mistakes. And tip number five, take all the opportunities you can to perform in front of a live audience. You learn how it is to have a
Yes.
cool and collected presence in front of a crowd with all those five tips. Of course, there might be
Great.
sub tips that I didn't mention, but of
Yes.
course, in order to manage time and all that, I had to cut a few out.
Yes. Great, Ethan. You know, it's radical because sometimes these are just simple things that we already knew before. But if it came from a student like you, a young person like you tend to be reminded that these are the things that I really need to do. Like in your case, I just
Yes.
noticed that you have a very wide vocabulary. That's one thing I noticed with great speakers and great writers. They don't have limited vocabulary. That's the very reason why they're able to express their thoughts clearly, effectively. How did you develop that? How did you widen
Yes.
your vocabulary, your word power? How were you able to widen it?
Okay. As a kid, I was an avid reader. I loved reading comics. I loved reading almanacs, and I still do love reading, though I don't really have all the time for it now. Um, and I guess I got my vocabulary from there, and I got how to construct sentences effectively from almanacs, and I also read a bit of literature like The Jungle Book. There was also, I forgot what the other book was called in Filipino. I believe it had something to do with a bird that pooped on its victims and froze them into rocks. Ibong Adarna,
Ibong
there you go. Ibong
Adarna.
Adarna.
Yes,
I just got
yes,
reminded. Ibong Adarna, yeah. So
yes.
essentially, reading these things growing up really helped me
Correct.
develop this wide vocabulary and large collection of words that now I can just keep on pulling when I'm conversing.
Yes,
It
yes.
has this people calling me a boomer. Like my friends call me a boomer because even in the most informal language or informal kind of conversations, they'd be like, "You sound so old. Why are you using these words, dude?
Are
A
you an
simple
old
discussion."
man?
Yeah, am I an old
Correct.
man? No, I'm not.
Yes, yes, yes.
And it's not only books. It also came from watching a lot of movies and YouTube videos. I'm still really, I was and I still am really interested in TED Talks or people like Mark Rober, Vsauce. I'm pretty sure teens have heard of Vsauce before. Um, and I was amazed by the fact that a lot of them had this capability to capture the attention of millions of people for 10 minutes or more and inspire them to do things or teach them new things, new words, new abilities. And that I kind of took it with me growing older as a motivation to keep on going and to widen my vocabulary, to become better at public speaking, and to, well, finally meet that end goal of being like them, being able to inspire an audience and being able to convey my message. So,
That's
yeah,
radical, Ethan. Okay, that's an impromptu question. I'm so sorry.
it's
But
okay, it's
going
okay.
on to our topic right now. So, we are facing right now the challenging times because we are in a pandemic. So, as a student like you, I know there are so many challenges, distractions, right? Whether you are learning online, whether you're modular or blended learning, what can be your techniques or tips to our students who are struggling? Well, some students who will be studying in public school are not yet starting their school or classes. But in private schools, they're already starting. And some really have the difficulty coping up with the new normal, right? So, what are your
Yes.
techniques, tips? How can you maximize learning? And for you, what is true learning? There's so many
Okay. Okay.
questions.
First.
Yes.
How can we maximize learning as students? Okay, sa mga student who are, or to the student who are listening, I'll be honest. I'll be 100% honest with you right now. There are still times where I'm guilty of not being 100% attentive to my lesson. Times where I'll
Okay.
have my phone open to the side or I would be doing something else because I'm just so bored. I admit it, it happens. And, and there's three
If the
things I've
teacher is boring.
yes, it does happen. It does happen.
Okay.
Because in this pandemic, one thing I've noticed is when you're seated in front of a computer screen for 3 or 4 hours, or maybe even
Yes.
6 hours tops, it kind of drains you. I'm not sure why, but it's
True.
emotionally and
True.
physically draining. Even arguably even more than a regular school would drain your energy. It tends
Correct.
to be tiring or tiresome to look at the screen and not feel the physical energy of your classmates, your peers, your friends. In school, you'd be able to joke around with the person next to you, like, hey, can you pass this letter around? But in
Yes.
classes, it's just a bunch of boxes with people in them, and you can't really have fun with that, can you? You can't really enjoy your class as much as you could in
Yes.
regular. So I think the first thing I wanna give is to change your perspective on things. A lot of people
Yes.
nowadays, I notice, especially on social media and my own peers, is that they really beat down on this idea of a pandemic as something that's just like a curse. And I did too. I was like that. I kind of felt this burning hatred for this pandemic. I was like, screw COVID. Why am I at home? I want to be outside with my
Correct.
I want to be learning in front of a screen. And the thing is, the bad thing about that is when you've got this forced perspective of anger towards online learning, you start to resent it. You start to resent being there. You start to resent the people around you. So the first thing I want to tell students and parents out there is to change your perspective on the pandemic itself. You've got to start seeing the silver lining of things. You've got to
Correct.
start thinking positively. And I know, I really do know it is hard because we are
Yes.
in an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. So it can definitely be challenging to think positively. But I think this breaks down even further to one, understanding yourself. Why are you really angry? How can I stop this anger? What can I do? Should I reward myself after classes? Should I
Yes,
have
that would be a good idea.
me as a mood booster? Should I have
Yes,
music or a light musical background to inspire me during classes? Those are things you can now do, all right? And when you start seeing the silver lining, when you start seeing this, oh, the little positive things, you start to uplift, you start to get uplifted, sort of. You start to think better. You start to be able to focus. You start to see everyone around you not as enemies, not as things to hate, but things to learn to love. You know what I mean? And
yes.
from there, I think we can go to my second tip is
Mm-mm.
not only understanding yourself better, but understanding your studying style better. A lot of people um, are challenged by the pandemic and by learning in this pandemic because it's all new, right?
Yes.
None of us
It's
have
not
been here before.
normal.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure the last pandemic in hundreds. They didn't have online classes back then.
Correct. Yes.
But nowadays, with these online classes, it's really difficult. This is never been seen before, right? There's no adult to tell us what to do. We're learning
Yes.
this firsthand, right? So the first thing I want people to do here is try to understand your studying style better. What will it make? What will make it easier for you to work?
Your
We are all
studying
proven
style.
to have different ways or different methods in learning. And I
Yes. Can you look at the ano, Lynn? Nag-stop yung cam. Okay.
hello?
Continue.
Yeah. That's the
Okay, we have, some
hello.
technicalities.
Sorry. I think I disconnected there. PLDT.
Just repeat the
All
last
right.
thing
So
that
back,
you've said about your study
yes,
techniques or
welcome to the
your
Philippines.
learning.
Mabuhay.
Yay! This is our signal. Okay.
Yeah. To understand your studying style better. What will make it easier for you in your environment? We all are proven to have different experiences and we all have different perspectives on what is comfortable. Some people may think that this setup right here, me sitting on a couch with a drink, is comfortable, but others may think like they don't want it to be quiet around them. They want it to be a bit noisy. They want to see people. So you have to
Yes.
understand what will make it better for me.
Mm-mm.
Because in the pandemic, one thing you've got to learn is how to be sort of independent as a student. Now you've
Correct.
really got to come up with new solutions. You've got to innovate. Like, um,
Correct.
if you find it stressful having to look at the screen and just having to hear your teacher, again,
Yes.
try playing music in the background. Or if you're just really hungry at times during class, have a little bowl of chocolate. Reward yourself.
Yes.
Every
You
question
eat
you get right,
something.
even if you get it wrong, just eat the chocolate. That's fine, right? You got to understand how to perform more efficiently. Those are those tiny solutions. So try to make your study experience as interesting as possible to you. Personalize
I
it.
love that.
Okay? Yes, personalize your experience and you learn to love the pandemic. Trust me. Even the most extroverted person in the room will love the pandemic if they know how to make their experience for themselves fun, right?
Yes.
In part of making your experience more fun, I think it's important to acknowledge your resistance and difficult feelings with motivation. What do I mean by this? So a
Acknowledge
lot of
your
people,
resistance.
yes,
Is that
acknowledge your
correct?
resistance. Yes.
Okay, what does it mean, Ethan?
A lot of people are in denial, you know? A lot of people are in denial. Admit it, if
Okay.
you're watching this and you're saying, no, I'm not in denial, you probably are in denial, right?
What are
If you're
the
telling
ways
yourself
would
that
you'd
you are,
know if a person is in denial?
you'll know you're in denial if you start telling yourself that, oh, you're not. I'm totally confident about it. Admit it.
Okay.
Admit it. Learn to acknowledge and admit it. Because once
Okay.
you start to realize it for yourself that I'm having a hard time with motivating myself for this work, for example, you can pinpoint the problems, right? You
Yes.
can you can express your feelings or thoughts. And once you let those out, you kind of have a clearer sense of mind or a sense of
Yes.
peace. If you don't admit it to yourself, you end up having this pent up aggression towards everything you do, and it's just not going to be
Correct.
productive. It's going to be really sad, and you're going to end up burnt out by the end of the day or by the end of the week. And
Correct.
it's just not healthy for you, the people you're around, and especially your learning habits. So once you're able to acknowledge this or these difficult feelings or your kind of lack of passion for things, you can then go back to what I said earlier. You can then understand your studying style and then improve from there, right? So those I think
Yes.
are my three tips. Acknowledge your resistance and difficult feelings with motivation. Try to understand your studying style better, and of course, try to personalize it. Make it as fun as possible for you. Because the teacher
Balance.
will do it for you. Yes, it's all about balance. And I'm telling people this is because these things can't be found on Google. You can't search how do I personalize my learning experience and expect Google to give you a good answer. Trust me, it's all about what works for you. What works for me
Yes.
could be different for you, Tita Mavic, or my friends, or my mom, or my dad. So it's all about really personalizing it and knowing yourself,
Knowing thyself. Yes, that's
knowing
what
yourself.
that
Yes,
was Socrates said before, right? Know thyself is the
yes,
beginning
know
of
thyself.
knowledge and wisdom.
Yes,
That's
and yun,
radical
you're
thinking.
in the pandemic and you're experiencing these things, just take note of these. See the silver lining, understand yourself better, acknowledge the fact that you're going through these things, and then from there you can improve. From there you can learn from your mistakes. Okay, so I think there was a second question, right? What's the
True
second one?
learning,
Yeah,
because every student has different ways of learning. But before we move on to that, like what you've said, we need to
yes.
define first what is true learning, what is true education. Different parents have different definition, different teachers, different individuals, even professionals have different definition
Mhm.
of it. So in your case, as a student, Ethan, and as a great communicator, what is true learning for you?
Okay, true learning is all about education or learning how to learn. It's all about that. That's as simple as I can put it without having to use all sorts of words and deep vocabularies. It's all about learning how to learn. And that's something that a lot of people miss out on. People think that true education is about competing with your peers, getting that top one, getting the perfect score in the class, being the best student. It's not that, trust me. That will not matter. It won't.
Yes.
My first honor certificates, I'm pretty sure, are in a box somewhere in the laundry cage, and they don't make sense. Those won't matter,
Yes.
really. What matters is also not necessarily always the concepts. A lot of people are also asking, why do I have to learn the quadratic formula? Why do I have to learn in X? It's not like I will be driving down the road and the stop sign will say, stop, find X and value of Y. It's not about that. It's about learning how to learn and developing the ability to learn, apply, unlearn, and relearn.
I
It's
love
those four.
that. I love that. Let's
Yes.
repeat that again. Ability
It's the process of developing the ability to learn,
to learn,
apply, unlearn,
apply,
and relearn.
unlearn, and relearn. I love that. Okay, so those
That's
are wonderful
what
insights, Ethan. Those are really wonderful insights. Ethan, thank you so much.
thank
We
you.
will try to summarize and wrap up all the things that you've shared to all our viewers right now so that it will be easier for them to chew. Because there's a
Mhm.
lot of things, right? So I want them to really
Okay.
apply it in their
Yes, it's a lot
real
of info.
lives also. So we'll be asking Teacher Vincent to help us out, our technical man here, to screen share before I move on to my own sharing also of techniques. Okay? So if there are questions later on that they will be
Mhm.
asked from you, I'll get back to you again, Ethan, okay? But with that, Mr.
Okay.
Ethan Lopez,
All
thank you
right.
so much for your time and for your wisdom, okay? Thank you so much.
And
Okay?
thank you so much for having me here. Thank you. This is a great
Yes,
opportunity.
it is a pleasure. It is a pleasure to converse with, like-minded people with the same interests, communication, speaking, debating, writing, all of this stuff. Okay, so is it ready, Teacher Vincent?
Mhm.
If it's not ready, it's okay. I'll continue. So, everyone can be a great communicator, just like what you said, Ethan, right? We can be our speaker, a writer. We need to learn the things what a great speaker or a good speaker can be. Okay, for me, I also have five
Mhm.
tips. Okay, five techniques that they can learn, relearn, or unlearn. First is the mastery of English grammar. Since we are all Filipinos, our first language is indeed Filipino. We are always talking in Filipino dialect with our peers, with our classmates, with our teachers in the household. But there are some family who already speak in English, like I think your family, Ethan, right? But every good speaking, I believe,
Mhm.
starts with good writing. Because good writing is the very foundation of everything.
True.
I don't think that you can become a good speaker
Agreed.
unless you are not a good writer. So it's true that when you said that it pays to read. So when you're a reader, when you have a passion to learn new things through writing materials, books, magazines, almanacs, any English materials or any English contents, it will increase your vocabulary. And like what you said, vocabulary is power. It will really help you to become confident as a speaker and as a writer. Okay, I've proven that also because when I was starting, when I was shy and introvert, I really have this fear of speaking up, of really telling my own story because I have very limited words. I cannot really articulate my thoughts effectively to an audience. So you know what? I would like to share with you of a colleague of mine from Speech Power before. He wanted to really learn to master grammar because he's a teacher, but he is a graduate of accountancy. So he really has difficulty in expressing his thoughts in English. You know what, Ethan, what he did? He started from the very beginning. He borrowed books in grade one, English books, grammar books, okay? And tried reading it, try learning it, try asking questions from credible sources, from English teachers, from us. Okay, so he started grade one book, grade two, until he reached his own level. College, high school, and then college, and then profession as a professional. So it was an amazing thing that if you really want it, there's really a way. There are many ways of doing it, right? So the question of can you become a great communicator? Can you become a great speaker or a great writer? Of course you can. 100%. Because we've experienced that before, right? We are the best testimonies of that. I think if I could just have recorded when I was in elementary and high school, the way I speak, oh my gosh. Everyone will be laughing at me right now. Okay? So that's the first technique. The second is that it pays to read. So the passion for reading, you have to start reading books right now. right now, it's a good help. If you try to write down, okay, write down your techniques, okay, writing techniques, you'll be able to slowly improve your grammar also, okay? And then somehow, like Bo Sanchez, one of, greatest speakers here in the Philippines, even though he is a veteran speaker, he still prepare for his talk. One talk, he prepares it for 3 to 5 days. Just imagine that. Because he wants to be what? He wants to give the best content, the best inspiration to his audience. And you are comfortable, you are more confident if you are prepared, right? Ay, nawala tayo! Oh my God! Salita pa akong salita dito, Teacher Vincent, hindi mo sinasabi. Nawala na tayo, Teacher Vincent. Paano yan? Okay, so going back, where did we end? My number three is reading. Number two, we're still on number two. Reading pays off. Okay, it's good to read right materials, whether books, magazines. Okay, and then number three would be to watch great films, cartoons, even animes, even movie shows that have great dialogues or conversations, right? Because I believe that imitating is learning. When we try to hear great speakers, great writers, like for example from TED Talks, like Ken Robinson, Simon Sinek, etc., etc., and even the live talks of Bo Sanchez here in the Philippines, I think somehow after the inspiration, we will have action. We will try to what? We will try to imitate the techniques that they also have. So number three or number four is practice writing your thoughts in your journal or diary. So if you have a journal or you're already writing your diary, that's one way to really develop your writing techniques, to develop your grammar. It's a cliche, practice makes it perfect, but still the same, no? It's the secret of great writers and speakers. Whether we like it or not, we cannot what? Just become triumphant speaker without really practicing our craft. Let's say, for example, Mr. Bo Sanchez. He's one of my inspirational speakers that I truly love. Why? Because he walked his talk. Meaning to say, whatever he says, he usually do it. Okay, whatever he shared to his audience, he's really doing that. So he prepares for every talk that he makes. So if he has a talk, he usually prepares 3 to 5 days just to make the talk inspiring and to produce the best content for the talk. Okay, that's the very reason why he's really confident. He is in his zen zone. Okay, he's very inspired. He's passionate in what he says. Okay, and then last tip, last technique would be number five. I believe you've heard this saying, fake it until you make it. Okay, what does it mean? When you're trying to practice, for example, you're trying to practice with your loved ones, make sure you are surrounded with the right people. The right people who will really encourage you to become better version of yourself, to become better speaker, to become better writer. So even though you commit mistake, it's all right, okay? Just try your best. And then later on, you will gain your momentum and slowly you'll be more comfortable and until you will develop your confidence already. Even though you make a lot of grammatical errors, it's okay. Okay? A lot of people, well, some of our teachers' mistake is that they always correct a student if they have grammatical error. That's the very reason they already have that fear of trying again. And mistaken failures is just what? Part of learning. It's okay to fail, but the problem with schools is that they get embarrassed already. That's the reason they don't try anymore. But fake it until you make it. Until you become the greatest speaker that you'd love to be, like Bo Sanchez, like Simon Sinek, like Ethan Lopez. Okay? So, of course, there's no better way of learning the rudiments of English by learning it from the pro, from good mentors. So, like what I've said, I'll be sharing with you the Hebrew program that we have here in English Center for free. If you'll be able to answer the first two viewers who will be able to have a correct answer on the question that I'll be making, I'll be asking you later on, you will have a free Hebrew program. Okay? But for us to discuss first, what is Hebrew? Of course, not all of you are familiar, no? Hebrew is shortcut for Holistic English Proficiency Program. And it comprises 8 important programs in English. Mastery of grammar, pronunciation and diction, widening one's vocabulary, reading and comprehension, listening effectively, writing efficiently in English, speaking fluently in English, and lastly, developing self-confidence. Those 8 programs for free, okay? So that you can have an idea also. Before, we are offering that here in the English Center in Ordaneta for 5,000 pesos each. But because of the pandemic, we make it very affordable for every parent. We made it 3,800 only. Imagine, there are 8 programs, English programs for 3,800. In Speech Power before, we offer it 3,000 per program. So 8,000 times 3, that's 24,000 pesos before. That's year 2010. So what? This is 2020 already. So just imagine what great discounts or savings that you'll get for that. So if we compute it for mathematicians out there, it's just, I think, 475 pesos for each program. And some of our students in Manila, they try to get 1, 2, 3, 4, or even 5, or all the programs. But if you compute it, it's quite expensive. The 8 programs would cost 24,000, right? So what we do, we made it holistic so that everyone will be able to afford it. It will be a reasonable price, okay? So those people who would like to avail of our program, you can ask us here in the FB page or send us your messenger account or email account so that we can send you all the details that you want. Okay, so right now, Teacher Vincent, is our screen share ready? Can we screen share now? Okay, sige, let's play the video first before we screen share. And then you can ask questions later on before we have the last question that I have, okay? Go ahead, Teacher Vincent. Okay, so while we're waiting for the video, don't hesitate to ask questions. If you have a question for Ethan or you have a question for me, our time now is quite limited. We will try to have next discussions, next meeting, because I believe that this is just the first time that Lee's English Center conducted this FB Live. Before, we conducted workshops for teachers, for students, for professionals, but it is one-on-one, it's face-to-face. Right now, it's a different thing. This is the new normal. So we will have our workshop, webinar, discussion here online. Okay? Teacher Vincent, is it ready?
Course as AP Psychology in the Southern University, Manila. And today, I'll be discussing a very interesting topic. It's all about depression. Depression is a common but serious mood disorder. Why it's serious?
So,
because it affects how
while
we
we're
feel
waiting,
and how we think.
I'd like to ask everyone to like our FB page.
Migraine and headache. And the
Ready?
most dangerous part
Okay.
is
Like our
that
FB
people who
page
are
so that you can
suffering
see all the
from depression
important information
tend to
there,
commit
everything that you
suicide.
want to ask. It's playing right now. Okay, good. Hindi ko kasi siya nakikita dito. Okay. Naririnig pa ba? Okay.
Lee's English Center for the past 10 years have
They can
helped
still hear
numerous
me.
students
Ethan, hindi na.
from
We
toddlers,
don't know.
elementary,
Okay.
high
Let's
school,
not talk.
college, adults, and professionals to develop their confidence.
Yes.
The HEPRO or
Okay.
Holistic English Proficiency Program was a complete sought-after training that
So,
developed
nag-play
the
na kanina
mastery
pa.
of
Hindi naman
grammar,
sinasabi sa
reading
akin.
comprehension, pronunciation, writing
Tignan mo
effectively, and
kasi yung
speaking effectively in
FB
English with
page.
confidence.
Para
Truly,
alam mo.
making a difference to one student at a time is our calling.
It's okay. So right now, I think you've seen our HePro program. There are VTRs. VTR is speech video recording of our students. We ask them to, yes, to prepare a speech. It can be a declamation piece. It can be a whatever passion that they love. If it's debating, if it's writing, if it's painting, as long as they'll be speaking in front of the camera and using English as their language, that's already good for a VTR or for a speech video recording. That's our one way of helping our students be able to what face their fears and talk to audience, to a large number of people. Okay? So, if there are any more questions, do you have any more questions, ladies and gentlemen? Dear parents, students, professionals, teachers who are watching us right now live, if you have questions and we'll be able to answer it right now, then we will. But if we cannot answer it, you can just leave it there in the Facebook page, in our messenger account, and then we'll try to answer it the best way possible. Okay? The screen share. Okay, so right now we'll be having the PowerPoint presentation. You can screenshot it in your phone or you can jot down notes. Done. Ready? Okay, I hope you got it. You were able to screen share it or jot down notes. So don't worry, as long as you give. Wala pa. Okay, thank you so much. So I hope you're able to screenshot or jot down notes for optimum learning. So, if you have any more questions, don't hesitate to ask. We'll be here for you to answer every questions that you have. If not, Just write down your questions there in our messenger or FB page, and we'll try our best to answer all your questions. But right now, kindly give your email address and messenger account so that we can share to you all the details for our next or upcoming free discussions or free FB Live or workshops or trainings here in Lee's English Center. Okay? So, we will go on with the last question, Teacher Vincent. Let's have the last question. Try to monitor it, Teacher Vincent and Teacher Angeline. See who will be the first two viewers who will get it all correct, and we'll have free HIPRO programs in Lee's English Center. As long as we'll get the details, their email ads, their messenger account, we'll try to give them all the details that they need in order to avail our HIPRO programs. So you're ready, dear viewers? So this is open for everyone. We hope we can mentor all your kids, whether toddlers, elementary students, okay, high school, college, adults, professionals, even teachers. We are mentoring the mentors also. We have workshops for mentors also. So even professionals, whatever professions they have, no? So we have been serving for the past 10 years already, since 2010. So the question is, what is the complete name of our special guest tonight in FB Live? Okay? So type on your answers. Let's see, Teacher Vincent or Teacher Ange, who will get the correct answers first. The first two, okay? Make sure it's not teachers of English Center or employees, okay? Make sure these are viewers from outside. It can even from Manila, from Pangasinan, or from any other areas. If we have, people from other places in the world, why not? Okay? There is already a winner, Teacher Vincent and Teacher Ange. Oh, but the question is so easy. If you listen carefully, it's not even about the content of the discussion that we have, right? It's about our guest speaker today. So exact name, meaning to say complete name, the first name and the last name. If it's just the first name, it's not considered. If it's just the last name, it's not also considered. Sorry, it should be complete full name. Okay? So, do we have a winner or winners, two winners? We need two winners, teachers. Can you also check it out, Win, in our FB page? Maybe it's your classmates. Why not? Right? It will be a privilege to mentor the students.
Are we talking about my full name? Like my entire name?
No, only the name that I introduced you a while ago.
Okay.
I don't know your your full complete name. How many names do you have? 3, 2.
First, second, last, 3.
3. Okay, so only just the 2. The first name that I told you, that I told the audience a while ago, and then the last name.
I think our winner is
Can you see it there, Ethan?
Yes, I can see it.
That's the bonus. That's the first name. What's the name of our first winner?
Does Ethan Lopez count? That's it, right? Just the correct answer is that.
Correct. What's the name?
Precious Titus.
Okay, so Miss Precious, can you please give your complete name, number, messenger account, and email address so that we can contact you and send all the details? Because you've won! Yay! You've won! You've won HIPRO program. Congratulations!
Yay!
And then, the second one. Who's the second winner, Ethan? Do we have?
The second winner, the second person after Miss Precious is Miss Maria Fe Alfante. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right.
Okay. Can we see if they're from Pangasinan, from Manila, or no, we cannot see it from our
Uh,
screen? Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Maria Fe, kindly give us your contact details, your name, messenger account, email address, number, so that we'll be able to share with you how you'll be able to avail the free HIPRO program. That's online, so you don't have any problem going here or us. Okay? So, in behalf of all our teachers, Teacher Ange, Teacher Vincent, our moderator, Teacher Eve, okay? And of course, our special guest for tonight, Mr. Ethan Lopez. That's the correct answer, right? Ethan Lopez. Okay? And all our viewers in their home, okay, who gave their time, their precious time for this training, free training tonight. Thank you so much. We hope to see you again soon. God bless us all and have a great evening, everyone. We hope that you were empowered. You're able to gain something from this free training, though it's quite short. So most probably you can have further free webinars, free workshops next time. Okay? So I hope you've gained something this evening. Thank you so much. Okay, bye-bye. God bless everyone. For your questions, try to message us. Okay? Don't hesitate to message us. Okay, bye-bye. God bless. Thank you, Ethan. Thank
Thank
you,
you so much.
Pia. Pia and family, thank you so much. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. God bless.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Zombie Martha. I'm 107 years old. My mommy is Zombie Rena. She's a brain baker. My daddy is Zombie Lawrence, who collects the brains for her. My brother is Zombie John, who is good at zombie math. It's like human math, only a little more zombie-ish.
Hi everyone, good morning. I am Anna Malaran and I took up my course as AD Psychology in the Southern University, Manila. And today I'll be discussing a very interesting topic. It's all about depression. Depression is a common but serious mood disorder. Why it's serious? Because it affects how we feel and how we think. It also affects our body. It can cause us migraine and headache. And the most dangerous part is that people who are suffering from depression can commit suicide.
Lee's English Center for the past 10 years have helped numerous students from toddlers, elementary, high school, college, adults, and professionals to develop their confidence. The HIPRO or Holistic English Proficiency Program was a complete sought after training that developed the master of grammar, reading comprehension, pronunciation, writing effectively, and speaking effectively in English with confidence. Truly, making a difference to one student at a time is our calling.